Hey everyone, it's Gina with GJH Creations, and I wanted to come in this morning and share a quick little project with everybody that is super easy to make and one that you can make at home for yourself also. Last week I made these little bunny pots that are very rustic and kind of primitive, a little hard to see with the sun shining. Super easy, super fast. I think it turned out super cute. And I had posted these on the GJH Creations Facebook page, as well as a couple other group pages that I participate in, and I had some requests for tutorials. So that is what I'm going to share with you in order to make these little bunny pots. So again, here we go, little rustic bunny pots. So here's what you're going to need. Is the little peat pot to start with. You can see it's just the brown that you would put some seeds in. I bought these from, let's see if you can see that, the American Seed Starter Pots. There's 10 of them in a package. I bought these from the Dollar Tree for $1.25 for all 10. And I have used several of these and have a couple other projects that I want to do as well. Okay, so we've got our peat pot. And then the other big piece that you're going to need is the little bunny. Okay, so you can see the little bunny here. Still, that sun is bright. And then this is what it started out as. The little plastic Easter egg bunny. It comes apart in two pieces like a regular plastic Easter egg. And then I'm going to turn it into a rustic bunny. So these were in a package of, I think, 12. And I got these at the Dollar Tree also. So they come in these white ones. They had, I think, a bright pink one. But for this project, we want to do white because it's going to be easier to cover with the paint. So we have that. And then we're going to use some of our moss. So I have a big bag of the Spanish moss that I bought at Michael's. And this, I think I paid $6 for the big bag. And this will last me a very long time. And then, let's see, what else do we need? We'll need some fabric to make our little bow. So you could use ribbon. And you can see I used just some black and white pinstripe fabric. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. There's a couple of different versions. I have this one also, which is a little more rustic looking, kind of a little more weathered, tea-stained look to it. So for this project though, I'm going to use just the black and white ticking stripe fabric. Set that off to the side. All right, and then we need our white paint and some brown paint, and that should be it. I'm gonna move that little egg because that's for something different. Okay, so the very first thing we're gonna do is start painting our little peat pot. So it's already that kind of brown color, and I want to add just a little bit of white to it to kind of give it that weathered look. And I'm just going to use the Americana white paint, and I'm going to use a makeup sponge to apply it. Put some paint on my paper plate here. And then I should have brought a wet wipe because this will get my fingers dirty, but we'll just, oops, move that over. We'll just use a paper towel. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is kind of make the, like I said, the peat pot. I want it to look weathered, so we're just going to dab a little bit of paint. It's really hard to see with that sunshine. We're going to just dab a little bit of paint on there, get some on the edges. I don't want it fully covered because I do want it to look, have that weathered look to it. So we are going to just kind of paint around it. I'm just dabbing it on, getting some spots are a little thicker, some are not. Alright, it only takes a minute or two to get this covered. Like I said, I don't want to paint the whole thing white. I want it to look like, there, you can see it's kind of weathered looking. So some of that brown is still peeking through, which is exactly how I want it. Okay, And that is going to be the base for our peat pot. So you can see it's very, the weathered look, you can still see the brown through that. Perfect. Okay, I am going to though use maybe, let's see if it's plugged in. I'm going to use my air gun here, my heat gun, just to dry that for a second. Oops, I'm running over my wires. Okay. I'm going to dry that just for a second, just so it don't get paint all over my hands. That's how simple and easy that part of the project is. It really, really is. Yeah, and it takes just a second. No. Okay, we're doing video helping. Okay, so now we have our peat pot finished. It's kind of got the weathered white and brown look to it, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so we've got that done. And the next thing I want to do is to fill the peat pot with just some packaging paper in order to, when I put my bunny in on the top, I want my bunny to sit up higher, because if I were to put him in now, he's going to sink all the way down, and I don't want that. Although that looks kind of cute too if you wanted to have it just kind of his bunny ear sticking out, but I want him to sit up just about there. So I have just some brown packaging paper that I actually got in a box of things that I ordered just to repurpose. So I'm going to just crumple that up. I'm going to do a little dab of hot glue at the bottom just to kind of keep it in place. And then I'm just going to push that down in there. There. It's down in there, and you can see when I set my bunny on top, he's going to be poking up, so most of his body is showing. And the nice thing, if you've got too much in there, you just squish it down. If you need more, you got more to add on there. Okay, so right now, our bunny pot is finished. We just need to add the extra pieces to it. So we are going to start with our bunny. And like I said, this little guy started like this from the Dollar Tree. Came in a package, I think, of 10 or 12. And I'm going to put paint on him and make him turn into that weathered bunny look. So here's a tip and a trick. When I did these the other day, I actually used a paintbrush and I just painted it on the plastic bunny. And because the surface is so smooth and shiny, it took a lot of coats of paint. So then I got smarter as I went along and I tried a different tactic, and it worked super good. So we are going to take our bunny and we are going to just, oops, I'll drop him. I'm going to take the bunny and just kind of rough him up a little bit with some sandpaper. And that is just to give, when I paint him, it gives the paint something to stick to, so it's not, it just removes some of that shiny surface. So it'll just help the paint stick when I go to paint it. Doesn't need to be super sanded, just enough that I can feel it feels a little bit rough when I sand the bunny. So you can still see his little face is still on there. Boy, that sun is just super bright. Okay, and then I want to get his ears. Oops, he's coming apart on me too. So these do open. Like if you wanted to buy these for your kids or your grandkids, you could easily. They make super cute. Okay, we're just gonna give his ears a little sanding. So now you can see I still have my bunny and I have just sanded him a little bit. So, okay, the next step, just get some of that sand off of there. Okay, the next piece is I'm going to take that same white paint that I just used a few minutes ago and I'm my makeup sponge, and I'm just going to dab it on there. It's still going to take a few coats of paint because of the dark pink and the black on his little face. So we are just going to use our makeup sponge and just, I'm going to hold him by his ears and get the front and the back. And we're just gonna dab there. I don't know if you can see that easy right there. Some paint on him. I think he might be coming apart again. Okay. And I am gonna dry it in between coats just so it'll stick a little bit better. Get him up by his face. And do his ears. I'm actually going to wait and do the other ear in a moment. So we are going to, again, use our heat gun to dry it a little bit. And this dries super fast too. Only because my hands will be covered in paint when I did these the other day. Oh my gosh, I have paint everywhere. Just enough that it will dry. For a second, quick. Okay, I need a little bit more white paint. Okay, I'm going to bite this ear this time. Okay, I'm going to put another layer of paint. I'm just going to dab it on him. So you can see I'm just dabbing the paint, but it is starting to cover his little face. Still see it through there, but not real bad. Okay, we are going to just keep dabbing the paint on both sides, get up by his ears. All right. With that other ear this time. Okay, so I've done another layer of white. And you can see his little face is starting to be hidden. You really can't see it anymore. You still see a little pink on the ears. And we are going to do a second coat and dry. Turn this up a little bit. So it'll dry faster. Yeah. And you can tell when the paint's starting to dry, it's not quite as shiny. The sun is coming through those lines. All right. Okay, and I don't really worry about painting the bottom only because he's going to be sitting in the little pot and you won't see it anyway. Okay, so here's what he looks like right now. You can see that a little pink right there on the ear is still showing, but his little face is pretty much covered up. Okay, I'm going to do, this time I'm going to use a little bit of the Waverly chalk paint in the cashew color. In this, I'm going to give just a tiny little bit because I'm going to put this on the bunny also, but it's going to help cover with that white. So I'm just going to dab it in my lid here, hold on to his ears again. There, and I'm just going to dab this on. You don't have to worry about, covering it perfectly. That's part of doing. This is more like a primitive craft or a rustic craft, but that cream color or cashew helps cover the white, and it helps keep it so you don't see that little bunny face. Okay, get one of his ears over here. Got the ear on the other side. Okay, so again, you can see his face is really covered now. You can't really see him. Those ears a little bit still. Okay. We're going to do one more coat of white after this. Like I said, it really, the white covers it, but I think the cream over a couple of coats of white make it a little bit easier to cover and hide his little bunny face. Alright. And it's almost dry. we'll hold him by the other ear. I'm going to give just a little bit of that cashew color on his ear, both sides. Try that. He is coming right along. So you can see right now, this is the bunny. He's covered in a cashew color over the top of the white. Okay. We're gonna go back with our sponge, back to the white, and I'm going to just, again, dab it on top, because now I want the white to show mostly, but that cashew color is underneath it. So it is making a little bit of a weathered look to that little bunny. Again, that is really hard to see with that sunshine. So I'm just gonna keep putting this on. Well, at least it's a sunny day, I guess. Even though I can't see anything on the video. Okay. Finish dabbing the paint. Like I said, I don't want it to be perfect, and I don't want it to be every inch covered, because I do want it to look a little weathered and rustic. And I think this is such good coverage. This will be the last coat. So I'm going to put a little bit more white on his front. Oops, I just touched all that. On his ear on the back side. There is really no way to do this cleanly without getting your fingers dirty. Okay, that's the back of his ear. That is the front. Okay, and there we go. You can see. Let's see if you can see that a little better right there. It's a little bit of the white and the cream color. All right, I'm gonna dry this one more time so that way we can finish making our little bunny for the pot. Speed up a little bit. I'm gonna finish this up. I'm telling you, this is a quick 5-10 minute project, and boy, is it look cute. And you are done. Turn him over, get his backside a little bit. Okay, he is done. Okay, so now I have my pot done, my bunny, he's gonna go in the pot. You can kind of see him. And then we are going to build around that. Again, this is about 5-10 minutes. Honestly, you could do this project in about 10 minutes. It does not take very long. And then I'm going to share another quick project. Okay, now I want to put my bunny in my pot. So, boy, that sun is just driving me crazy today. Okay, I'm going to put him in there. And I am going to put some hot glue on the bottom inside of the pot on top of that brown paper, and I'm going to just stick him in there and kind of hold him down a little bit for just a couple of seconds, so that way he is in the pot. Super easy. So now you've got your bunny in the pot. Okay. The next part I want to do is put some of that Spanish moss, you can see that, all the way around the perimeter of my pot, so it fills in the gap and it will help hold my bunny in place. Okay, this part does get just a little bit messy, but let's see. I'm going to move my paint out of the way. I need that right now. Put this over here. My scissors and my hot glue. So when I made these the other day, the easiest way I found was to kind of put some hot glue around the perimeter of the pot on the edge, just to give it something to hold on to. I'm going to put my little glue finger on here. I got these at the Dollar Tree. Oh my gosh. It saves my fingers from how many times I burn them on hot glue. Okay, I'm just going to use my scissors and cut out a little piece. So you can see I just have some of the Spanish moss in my hands. And with my glued finger, I'm just going to kind of hold my bunny in place with one. And stick him on there, Spanish moss, on top of that glue. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. I'm going to overlap a little bit, put a little bit even on my bunny, so it gives us something to hold on to. Take a little bit more of the moss. There we go. I'm going to stick her on there. Keep my bunny up. Stick it on there. So you can see he's starting to fill out. And then we got one more side. So I'm going to just put the hot glue right along this edge. Put it right there, a little bit on my bunny. So it sticks. Take a little bit more Spanish moss. Alright, and I'm going to kind of push it in there just a little bit more. And you can see my poor little desk here is covered in Spanish moss now. Okay, I'm going to just stick it down in there, and again, stick into my fingers a little bit, push it back down in there, make sure he's in. And you're going to have a little bit of, like right here, some of those stray pieces right here. I don't need those on there, so I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of cut around some of those weird straggly little pieces that are long, just to make it a little bit more uniform. So you can see right now we got our bunny in the pot with the Spanish moss. Alright, I'm going to take this and move it. I'm going to take all of this, shove it to the side a little bit. Okay. The last, there's two more steps to this. So we are going to add a little ribbon on the front. So you can see it's that black, and well, you can't really see it very well in that sun. The black and white ticking fabric right here. I want to make a little bow out of that for my bunny. So I just cut a little tiny strip of my fabric, and I don't need the whole thing. I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, and I don't need the whole thing. I'm not going to make like a bow with the two loops. I am just going to make a knot in the center of this. And then I'm going to glue that on. Just because it's a small little bow, and I really don't need it to be super. And I'm not going to pull it super tight. So you can see that little bow. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my bunny and see which side I want as the front. I think I want this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the little bow on front. We'll hot glue a little spot right there on the front in the center. Put a little on the Spanish moss, put some on my bunny, and I'm going to stick my bow right on there, push it down. My finger, and then hold it, and now you have the little bunny with his bow and his peat pot. Super cute, I love it. All right, the only other thing I want to do is I want to make this bunny's ears to look, see how there's a little bit of brown on there? I want that weathered look to my bunny, which is still really very white right now. So, top on the white paint, so I've got Spanish moss all in it. Put that aside. Okay, you can do this with two different things. You could do some brown, like furniture wax. This is the burnt umber, no, dark antique wax. You could use that, or you could just use a stamp pad in like a chocolate brown color, which is this. You can buy these at Michael's, Amazon, everywhere. So again, just my stamp pad, and I'm going to take a sponge, that makeup sponge again. Oh, that one was wet. Okay, my makeup sponge, And I'm just going to dab it on there. So it's a little bit on my sponge, not a ton. And then I'm just going to kind of go along his ears. You can kind of see that a little bit. How I just want to make the edges a little bit. Do it on the back. And you see it looks a little rustic now. And now that I've got that, I'm just going to dab a little tiny bit on him with that around the front. I'm not covering that paint. I just want it to be a little bit covered. There you go. Quick and easy project. So here is 2 of the little bunny pots. Super cute. And you can see this took about 10 minutes to make. So I hope you enjoy. If you want to make a bunny project, you have any questions, make sure to send it my way. And then if you make one, make sure to come back and let me know on Facebook page for GJH Creations. And I hope you have a ton of fun decorating your house with these little tiny bunny pots. So thanks for joining me today. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out and let me know. Happy to help.